All right, for our problem, we are given this equation, x squared minus 18x plus 58 is equal to 0. And we're asked to solve, but we got to use the quadratic formula. So first and foremost, what I need to recognize is that a is 1. Remember, when I'm writing all this stuff down, we want this to be listed in the standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Now, keep in mind that the a is the number in front of x squared. The b is the number in front of x. C is all by its lonesome, and it has to be set equal to 0. Now, what they'll do on the SAT and even on this assignment is sometimes they don't necessarily write it exactly in this order. So you have to rearrange it, or sometimes you have to solve it for 0. But then once you have it written this way, A, B, and C are the values that we use in the quadratic formula. So A is 1, right? B is negative 18. And then C is 58. Now, the quadratic formula is that x is equal to negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. Now, a lot of times kids will say, I don't know if I can remember the formula. I've memorized the formula because I write it down every time I do the problems, right? So then the next step is, what's negative b? Well, negative b is negative, right? It's negative 18 plus or minus the square root of negative 18 squared minus 4 times a, but a is 1, times c, which is 58. All over 2 times 1. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky. On the next line, this becomes a positive 18, right? Negative times a negative is a positive, plus or minus. What's 18 squared? Well, now I can do this whole line in my calculator if I do it right. So I can say I'm going to do this whole line in my calculator. I'm going to say, in parentheses, negative 18 squared minus 4 times 1 times 58. Now, order of operations will automatically do this work for you. The only thing that you got to remember is that if something's negative, you got to put it in parentheses. But all these terms are positive. So I hit enter, I get 92. So then this becomes the square root of 92 all over 2 times 1. Okay, so far so good. Now what I need to do is think about 92. Can 92 be reduced? Well, I think 4 goes into 92 for sure. So if I take my calculator and I say 92 divided by 4, I get 23. Now, why did I think of 4? Well, 4 is a perfect square, right? So what does that mean? That means that this could be written as 18 plus or minus the square root of 4 times the square root of 23. Now 23 is a prime number, so I know that I can't reduce that anymore. All over 2. All right. Well, what's the square root of 4? 2. right?
Interruption. At this time, I need middle school baseball. All middle school baseball players, please report to high school gym. Thank you.
All right. So now I can take this and change it into 18 over 2 plus or minus 2 root 23, whoops, 2 times the square root of 23 over 2. Now this will reduce. What's 18 divided by 2? 9. What is 2 divided by 2? 1. In other words, 2 divided by 2 becomes 1 over 1. 1 times square root of 23 is 23. So I've done a lot of work, but guess what? The answer is 9 plus or minus the square root of 23.